At least the Yankees lost. Yay.
That did
That
happen.
was terrible. We don't even have that much to say. So and the moods are down. We're going to have some fun today because it's Locked On Blue Jays, and it starts right now.
Get hyped!
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Blue Jays. Thanks so much for making us your first listen every day. That guy's Matt Bonaparte. I am Ben Shulman. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Twitter at Locked On Jays. Email us lockedonbluejaysreal@gmail.com, REAL, Locked On Blue Jays Real. You haven't been emailing in a while. We miss you. Come on. What's that other one? Podbean. You can listen to us on Podbean. The Blue Jays.
Podbean.
Yeah. Blue Jays lose.
Yeah.
In pretty sad fashion. Can't say we didn't totally see it coming. Yusei Kikuchi has a bad start. Only 3 of the runs end up being earned, but he gave up 6. Not the best day at the office for Bo Bichette either. And Kikuchi commits an error. And I mean, honestly, the day started off really well. The first 2 obviously the talk going into the broadcast, he's got to locate the fastball because that's what he has to do. If he locates the fastball, he's usually fine, but he almost never locates the fastball.
That man has no idea where the baseball is going when he leaves it. He's got no clue. No shot.
First 2 pitches of the game, though, dots. Inside corner, outside corner, just dots. And you're like, okay, maybe this is going to be a good day for Yusei. Then Ryan McKenna, with a nothing swing, pops up a ball down the right field line. That's a perfect in-between Vlad and Teoscar, and it drops in, and then the throw bounces to second, and Bo can't make the pick, and they would have probably tagged him out. Instead, it's a double to start the game, and a run comes in the first, and it's like, it's not happening today. You know, we've seen this movie a few times before. So, I mean, we'll talk about it now. We're just going to do some games after because, like we talked about it before we got on, we can sit here and tell you, like, we don't want Kikuchi to start, or we want Mitch White to start, or how can they do this? What do they need to do? We all agree on what they need to do. We all know it's probably not going to happen because of the contract he's on. So it's just like it's a purgatory type situation for people like us that want to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, he's put us in this spot where it is just so painstaking to watch him go out there every single time he's on the bump. And there's only so many times I can sit here and go, I don't know what you do with Kikuchi. So, you say, at this point, all I can say is I hope you can figure it out, brother, because this is getting just hard to watch.
It is. 3 1/3, 4 hits, 6 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks, gave up a homer to Mountcastle. What's new? 5.25 ERA now. And yeah, I mean, the defense did not help him, including his own defense. But the defense in general did not help him. The bats weren't good, but they weren't bad. Like, I mean, you still do take an overall positive from this game is like George played. He hit well. He was wearing the elbow brace, but he wasn't grabbing at his elbow the whole time. And even though they lost this game, him being back is going to turn into wins going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it has to, right? The worst failure of the season, in my opinion, for Toronto has been just not having any chance at catching the Yankees. And they've opened the door so much for Toronto, and they just can't catch them. They have had no luck. It's still 10 games. The Yankees lost again tonight, and they couldn't make up any ground against the Orioles, who aren't bad, but I mean, you've had so many chances. Just please, one time, take advantage of it. It seems that if the Yankees lose, the Jays lose, and if the Jays win, the Yankees win. They just have no timely winning ability, and the race should be a lot closer than it is, I think. I mean, at no point in the season, this is the other thing. And I know I'm doing a lot of reflecting right now, but like, I mean, it is mid-August. What else is there to do? Because the race is what the race is at this point. And like, the Mariners are good, fine. The Orioles have played well, fine. And the Rays won again tonight, and they're okay. But I feel like all four of those teams, including the Jays, are pretty mediocre. Nobody's knocked my socks off in the last week or so. Of course, the Mariners had that big winning streak, and so did the O's. But no team has been like, wow, these guys can really win it. But what I was going to say is outside of that winning streak that started with the 4-game sweep of Los Angeles, of the Angels, the Jays have really not wooed me at any point throughout the season. Obviously, there were bad stints like the big losing streak and whatever that was. Again, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they were never dominant for a month or anything like that. They had good months. They had fine, solid months, but they were never so good to where the entirety of the league was looking at them, kind of thing.
Yeah, the 8-game win streak was really the only time, and to a certain extent, like they're letting the Yankees get away with theft right now. This division title,
Exactly,
the Yankees
totally.
lost again today. They lost. We're obviously recording after the game, not the next morning. They lost to the Rays. They can't hit anything, but the Blue Jays, basically the entire last time through the starting rotation, were just bad. And so they put themselves in terrible spots to win. Dan said it near the end of the game today in the homestand. So the 3 games against the Guardians and now this series opener, the bullpen has pitched more innings than the starters have. You're never going to win like that. That's just not how it works. The starters need to at least get to 5. I mean, come on. So that's bad. Circling back to George for a second to get a little positive. Not including tonight, although I could factor it in. I'll include tonight. So George Springer's played 168 games as a Blue Jay, so just a little bit over a season in his 2 years. And the Blue Jays are 26 games over 500 when he's in the lineup. So
Wow.
He's helpful, and maybe he can help spark them, like he did with his double today. Good to see Vladdy start a new hitting streak. Chapman had a hit. He was pretty good. Merrifield had a hit. He's continuing to get a little better, but he's not going crazy.
The offense has really just never been the issue. I mean, almost all,
Yeah.
like at the beginning of the year, we talked about it a little bit, but like that quickly dissipated.
Yeah.
And from like mid-May to late May on, it was all about, okay, when are they going to get that starter? And you know what? Like, maybe I'll sound just like a fan, but I honestly think that the front office did fail in not getting them a good starter at the deadline or before the deadline. I mean, I think it's a total failure in that respect. They needed one, absolutely needed somebody, and they didn't. And it's not like the writing wasn't on the wall. It's not like there was a guy who was performing up until the deadline and then just fell off a cliff. Barrios and Kikuchi have been bad all year. I mean, they've had like Kikuchi had a good month, and Barrios looked like he was turning a corner at some point, but at no point did you think, okay, these 5 guys are going to take us to the World Series? You needed another guy pretty much all year, and you knew that from like, week 3? And they just never did it. And I think that they need to be held accountable for that because it's ridiculous. They had a weak deadline. They just did. Mitch White's not enough.
Yeah, since Ryu went down, they were in trouble, and it does eventually go back to, it's only the first of 3 years, but whiffing on the Kikuchi signing, because that probably some of their reluctance to get a starter is because then they would either have to put Strip back in the pen, which wouldn't make any sense, or put like a $36 million starter in the pen, and they don't want to do it. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it does feel pretty obvious that they don't want to do it. And so I think it all roots back to not signing the right guy. Which happened to be Yusei Kikuchi. And, Steven Matz set a pretty crazy market this year when he got signed away from the Jays to St. Louis. But considering he's not going for that much more per year than Yusei Kikuchi is, like, how much more would you want Steven Matz being that guy, rather than Kikuchi right now? It would be – I don't even know his numbers this year, to be completely honest, but just going off of last year – I would have to imagine that he's probably doing better than Kikuchi is right now.
He's actually worse.
Really? Wow.
He has a 5.7 ERA.
That teaches
And
me to speak out of my whatever.
He's terrible, actually. He's also hurt, poor guy.
Well, scratch that point. But in general, they whiffed on the signing, which they committed a lot of money to, which I think unfortunately led them to not making a trade. And I don't want to look there yet because they're still in a playoff race, but it's going to be very interesting this offseason what they want to do about Kikuchi. If it's only 2 years, are they willing to trade him and eat a bunch of the money? Because I think if you ate a lot of it, someone would take him, but I mean, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a predicament and a half, and we've kind of known that all year. But
yeah, they could clear the book by trading Ryu if they wanted to. I think he's an easier guy to trade than Kikuchi, but it's not easy.
I don't know if that's easy. I mean,
it's not easy
in over a year.
I think it's easier than Kikuchi because there's a more actual upside you can sell on.
You know what the other crazy part about this is? Remember at the beginning of the year, people were like, okay, Kikuchi might not be good, but Ryu could come back and Nate Pearson could really make a change.
Pearson's been hurt all year also.
I know. I'm just saying it's crazy how those two things just never happened.
Yeah.
And that killed him in the end. Yeah. I mean, not having a starter there and then not going after one. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in the meetings. I don't know what the Jays front office was thinking, but I don't know if they were banking on one of those guys coming back and making a difference, or they were thinking, all right, if we can get somebody who's a project at the deadline, like a Mitch White, we can turn him around, kind of like some other teams have done around the league. I don't know what they were thinking, but whatever they did at the deadline didn't put them in enough of a position to win the World Series.
Yeah, they're not great right now, but you know what is great? He was a Blue Jay, and I'm back on the Quizmaster side of it. But first, I got to tell you about the most delicious treat you've ever seen in the freaking world, Built Bar Puffs. If you haven't had them, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. Oh. That's right. Built has done it again. Bones, you like that cookie dough chunk puff? Yeah, you like it because it's got a light and chewy texture. You were just telling me recently about the real cookie dough chunks and, of course, on how your mouth was coated in that 100% real chocolate. It's like all the joys of cookie dough without the bare hands and bucket of it beside you. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. 15. Run to Built.com to snag a box of them for you and the family. It'll be the perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them yourself because they're your cookie dough chunk puffs. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. Woo! We're just having fun. You know what? Because baseball's fun, and we got to not take it so seriously even when they lose because it's just a game. And we're going to play a game called He Was a Blue Jay. I am incredibly happy to be back on the Quizmaster side of things. For those who don't know, this is a game that we started with me quizzing Bones, and there were different seasons involved. I did 3, and then we did a new twist for season 4 where we flipped. And Bones, who went 28-5, I believe, 25-8 in his career, proved his dominance by watching me go 8-6. I mean, it's a miracle I finished above 500. A legitimate miracle.
Come back in the century.
Yeah, I was 2-5. I did my one lasting achievement. I'm kind of like Philip Humbert, all right? You look at the body of work, you're like, but I hit a one hint. And that is my lasting achievement. I got a He Was a Blue Jay right in one hint. If you don't know He Was a Blue Jay, by the way, we pick a niche Blue Jay or a guy you wouldn't remember as a Blue Jay, and then I give 5 hints. Bones has about 30 seconds, 3 guesses to guess who it is. And if he gets it right, then he gets a win. If he taps out after the 5th hint, he gets a loss. This is season 5. I don't know if it's going to even last past today, but season 5 is the one where we fly by the seat of our pants, and the guys are not very easy. Bones, are you ready?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think there's a good chance I don't know either of these guys, but we're gonna do our best.
Which I have two. Which one would you like first? Easier or harder?
You said they're both hard.
I think one of them is easier than the other one.
I want the hard one first.
Okay, I like it. I actually did already have that guy's guess.
Okay, I haven't played this game in so long. I got to get my mind right for it.
Yeah, now you're flipping back into the pressure cooker, dude. I had no idea what it was like. All right. Hint number one. This infielder debuted with the Blue Jays in 1996. However, he would only play 9 games for them.
Mike Gallego.
Incorrecto.
1996. Tim Salmon. He was an outfielder?
Salmon, and I think he would have debuted before then.
Okay.
And I said infielder.
Johnny Peralta.
Not Johnny Peralta. We move on to hint number 2. I don't believe he was a Blue Jay. Hint number 2. He became most notable playing for another AL East team.
Okay, we're going to go with the Red Sox. Julio Lugo.
Incorrect.
Going to go to the Rays. No shot. It's a Ray. What? Can you see the first hint again?
First hint was this infielder debuted with the Blue Jays in 1996, but only played 9 games with them. Hint number 2 is he became most notable playing for another AL East team.
Okay. Mark Teahan.
Incorrect. Don't know who that is.
Okay. We're gonna go Alberto Callaspo.
Incorrect. Hint number 3. At one point in his career, he was a Yankee. At one point in his career, he was a Met.
Okay, so we're gonna hope the Yankee is the other AL East team.
For those who don't know, Bones is from not really the New York area, but in the vicinity.
I mean, 30 minutes away.
Yeah. That train took more like 45.
Well, if you drive, it's 30. What was I gonna say? Oh, so I'm going to guess that the team he became famous on was the Yankees. And we're going to have to say it was the early 2000s. Let's think about those infields, man. Who's playing second base? Like, is it Mariano Duncan?
Incorrect. Because this one is hard, I'm just going to preemptively let you know I wrote a bonus hint.
Okay. 1996, he showed up.
He debuted with the Jays in 96.
Shelley Duncan.
Incorrect. Only played 9 games with them. He became most notable playing for another AL East team. And at one point in his career, he was a Yankee. And at one point in his career, he was a Met.
Nick Johnson.
Not Nick Johnson. Let's move on.
I'm running through a lot of names in this episode.
Hint number 4. He played until 2012 and finished his career with the Reds.
God. What hint am I for? Gee.
But you have 6. I wrote a bonus because this guy is tough. I'm 99% sure you know this guy, but it's tough.
So he finished on the Reds in 12, came up in 96. So he played, 16 years?
Yeah, I mean, again, he only played, it's technically 17 years, but he only played 9.
He lasted a long time in the league.
He did last a long
good
time.
Player.
He was a pretty good player. He wasn't phenomenal, but he was.
But he was good. Okay.
Both guys I picked lasted a while in the majors. That was my consolation for them not being the easiest. Was at least they've been around, so you should know the names.
It's a guy who lasted a long time in the majors. And he played for both the Yankees and Mets. Was a good Yankee, apparently.
Technically never said that.
Yeah, all right, Ben. God. Jeez, this is tough, dude. I can't not guess here. I have to guess here. It's not Scott Rowland.
It's not Scott Rowland.
Who the heck played for the Yankees?
Scott Rowland, though, was a Blue Jay. Want to be clear.
Yeah, but he's way too much of a Blue Jay.
Funny thing is, I thought that only played a season and a half with us. But
really?
was
Maybe it's
still
just because I remember it's like the time of baseball I
it's
watched.
2008-9, which for
Yeah, like that was
people
my
more than
peak
me
year.
and you, yeah, that's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I know every single player on every team.
I'm gonna go Wilson Betamete.
Not Wilson Bemmy. Do you want me to move to hint 5?
Yeah, right. Go to hint 5.
There is a hint 6 because hint 5 is either going to really help you or not help you at all. And just let me know right away because I'll go to hint 6 immediately.
Okay, go ahead.
Hint 5. He's currently a member of the White Sox coaching staff.
Go ahead. What's hint 6?
Okay. Hint 6. The team he was most notable for being on, the AL East team I mentioned, acquired him via expansion draft.
Debuted in '96, not Wade Boggs.
It was the Rays. I'm really proud of myself for holding my face. Usually I give it up and you're like, no way it's the Rays. And I was just like, yeah, I guess.
Rays? Who the heck was on the Rays?
He was also on the Yankees.
He was like Mr. Ray? Like
he wasn't Mr. Ray. I mean, Wade Boggs was Mr. Ray.
Akinori Iwamura.
No. You did say that very confidently, despite feeling somewhat backed in a corner.
It's not. This is not a guess. I just need to run through names. It's not Jason Barton.
I'll throw in like a mini bonus too. While infielder is the way I feel most comfortable classifying him because he moved around, he's best known as a second baseman.
Akinori Iwamura. Who played second base for like the 09 Rays? Okay, like second baseman for the Mets, like.
Okay, well, here, let me tell you one thing. If he was acquired via expansion draft, 09 Rays?
Yeah, that's why I tried to move to the Mets. Omar Quintanilla.
09 would be pretty late after. Not Omar Quintanilla. If you don't know this guy, I'm going to feel bad, but I think you know.
17 years. I'd be shocked if I didn't know who it was.
Yeah. Here's the hint that won't help you at all. I just broadcast the game his son was in. So that's how I.
Oh, that's great.
That's how I remembered him.
All right. I give up.
Tapping. Miguel Cairo. Miguel Cairo.
There was never a world where Miguel Cairo was coming out of my mouth. Gosh,
but he played 17 years, you know?
Dude, like, I need to look at his baseball reference page now.
He was never that good, but he was a good
Cairo. Okay. That's nuts.
He was on the Yankees in like 06 and 07, so I thought you might know him from there.
The only reason I should have gotten it was because I knew he was on the 04 team because that team, we don't talk about what happened to that team. But I knew he was on that team because I just watched the Jeter doc and they talked about it. And I knew Miguel Cairo was there. That stinks.
I probably could have given you more of
when I said Mariano Duncan, like Miguel Cairo was like probably what I was trying to think of, but like in my head, like I don't know enough about like old like that because I'm too young. So like I didn't live it. So like I don't have the database for those players. Anyway.
Hey, that's all right. Look,
this is huge because if I lose this, I have double-digit losses.
That's true. That. Before we do that, would you like to tell
let me read an ad right quick.
Business sponsors?
BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your wagering sports information. From live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts, they've got you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts.
He was a Blue Jay continues for one more. Yeah, you're 25-9. I guess 0-1 in season 5. Let me mark that Miguel Cairo was a season 5 miss. Hey, I didn't think it was harder than Chin-Ming Wong.
Of course it was.
Really? I know Cairo more than
Chin-Ming Wong was like second in Cy Young voting one year.
Miguel Cairo is like a real person. All right, let's keep going. This next guy whose name I almost just said. This pitcher appeared in over 1,000 games in his career.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't checked where he ranks on the
Jose
leaderboard, but it's got to be
Valverde.
not Jose Valverde,
Trevor Hoffman.
not Trevor Hoffman. He was only a Padre and a Brewer.
LaTroy Hawkins.
Not LaTroy Hawkins. We move forward. He made his debut with the Blue Jays in 1991.
Of course he did. Oh my God. Jeez.
Let's see where this guy is on the games
God,
pitched.
you know.
This guy, bonus hint, he's 8th all time in games pitched.
You know why this sucks?
Why?
It's because I did Octavio Dotel to you. No one would dare do LaTroy Hawkins. And there's another guy that is the one of the biggest journeymen of all time. He's played for every team. And I don't know his name. I forgot his name. And
This guy played for 6 teams. That's another bonus.
All right. Well, let's move to the next hint. On the next hint.
Next hint is he was a 4-time World Series champion.
Wow. Was he a Yankee? John Wetland.
Incorrect.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm going to tell you right now, he was not a New York Yankee. I'm pulling for you on this one, so I'm throwing in lots of bonus hints. Your 3 official hints are
champ, dude. He must have been a Blue Jay for the first 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. I mean, he debuted with the Jays in 91, and he's a 4-time World Series
champ. He must have been.
He was there for 92 and 93.
And his career must have gone long, so he could be anywhere after that. I have no idea who was on that Blue Jays team. All I know is that Dave Winfield was on one of them. That's all I know.
It's a pitcher.
Well, I know that, but I'm showing you my lack of knowledge. Joe Carter, George Bell, and some other guys, and that's all. I don't know any pitchers on those teams.
This doesn't. I'll name guys that you do know that were on that team, like Dave Steeb. I was on the 92 team.
Stiebler, yeah.
David Cohn.
Carter, I know.
David Cohn was on the 92 team. Al Leiter pitched for the Blue Jays when they were.
Yep, everybody knew that. Dave Stewart was on that team. I know that.
Yeah, 1 year. Jack Morris. Jack Morris was a pitcher.
I knew Jack Morris. Yeah. Okay, I need to move on. Next hint.
Jimmy Key. All right. Hint number 4. He won rings over 2 decades apart from each other.
Okay, kind of realized that, but that's okay.
Well, did you? That means that his other rings.
It's 2004, yeah. 2000, it could have been a Red Sox. He could have been a White Sox. Could have been a Cardinal. Could have been a Red Sox again. Could have been a Philly Yankee. Not a Yankee. Oh my gosh. Next hint.
The Blue Jays are the team he played for with the most years, but a different AL East team is where he spent his most games with and finished his career.
It's a Red Sox. It's got to be a Red Sox.
It's
a Red Sox. Played for 04 and 07. That's it. I have no idea who's in that bullpen. No idea. No clue. We gotta think.
You want me to name some guys in the 04 bullpen? Get the juices flowing?
Sure, go for it. I'll tell you if I've ever heard of him.
In 04, he made the most appearances of any pitcher on the Red Sox, by the way. But it's not Alan Embry. It's not.
Never heard of that guy in my life.
Scott Williamson or Kurt.
Never heard of that guy in my life.
Fine. Let me go to 07. Let me go to 07. 07 will help you more than 04. 2007.
It's not Papelbon, I'll tell you that much.
It's not Papelbon. It's not Javier Lopez. It's not Hideki Okajima.
Is it? No, he's too young.
It's not Manny Del Carmen. It's not JC Romero. The 2007 Red Sox had Eric Gagne. It's not Eric Gagne.
It's kind of wild. There's a good chance I've never heard of this guy.
Really? I've definitely heard of this guy, and I didn't even know he was a Blue Jay in the 90s, but he's just such a journeyman from our childhood. He made 1,000 appearances. Consistent. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can give you. I'll tell you his career path if you want to hear that.
Give me the path.
Toronto, Seattle, Baltimore, St. Louis, 1 year stop in Philly, and then 6 years of Red Sox. 03 to 08, he's on the Red Sox, and he's averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 appearances a year.
Like, I know who this person is, but, like, there's a 0% chance I could think of him, so I give up.
Let me see if he pitched against the Yankees in the playoffs.
It's not going to help. Unless he pitched in 09.
He retired in 08.
Yep, no chance. All right, what is it?
Mike Timlin.
When I tell you I've never heard of Mike Timlin
You've never
my
heard of Mike
entire
Timlin?
life.
He
Never
was
heard
on
of
the
Mike
Red
Timlin in my
Sox
life.
our whole childhood.
Couldn't tell you. If you said Mike Timlin, I would have told you he was a real estate agent.
Oh, well, I think that's the perfect way to end our episode. Thanks so much for listening as we tried to distract from the tailspin that's going on right now. Tomorrow we'll come back with some actual baseball analysis, but we need a little break. So make your second listen Locked On MLB. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and a unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. He is Matt Bonaparte. I am Ben Shulman. That is who?
You don't know who this is?
It looks kind of like Yoda.
Yoda.
It looks like Yoda, but you know when people make their like scrap metal art?
Yeah, this is scrap metal art.
He looks like a very menacing Yoda. All right, our audio listeners are loving this. We'll see you guys later.